Hello. Thanks again for coming back to Micia's Plant Life. Today, I'm going to be propagating on this monstera. And you see how big it is. I have a lot of branches that are just hanging over the pot, which is okay. But I am going to be moving soon. So it is necessary for me to go ahead and cut it back. Another word we can use for that is called propagate. And this is the area that I'm going to be working on today. Um, let's see if you can see how it extends out. And like I said, it's perfectly fine for it to do that. That's what it's going to do ultimately. But because of the fact that I'm going to be moving soon, I'm going to go ahead and get this pruned back and start the propagation process. It's going to be easier to carry the propagated pieces than it is to keep this beautiful plant from getting damaged, and the branches cut or broken. And that's what I don't want, and I'm not going to have time for that. So before we begin, as always, I always sterilize my utensils. And this is the knife I'm going to be using. You want to use something that's very sharp. And I did sharpen this knife, and it is something I use for cooking, but it's the strongest thing I have for these very thick branches. So I'm getting it disinfected and cleaned out. Well, not that it's infected, but you always want to clean off any cutting utensils that you're going to be using on your plants, because you don't want to cause any type of cross infection if a plant might have some type of thing going on. So it's always a safe bet to sterilize. And so now I'm going to go back to the area of the plant that I'm going to propagate. And so what I do is I take a good look at it first and make do an analysis and see what's the best place to cut at and what's going to be necessary and what's not necessary. And at this point, I don't think it's necessary to go back too far. So I'm going to, hopefully you can see the plant. I'm going to cut right here, and I want you to see, once again, where the node is. So I'm going to cut just in between this leaf here and the leaves that's protruding out from this branch. I'm going to have to put the camera down, and I'm going to see if I can angle it up where you can see what I'm doing. Maybe you can see it, I think so. And here I am with the knife. Now, let's see. Lifting up the leaf. Turn it just some more. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and get it cut off. And I'm going to do a straight. Oh, I see. Just a little more. Here we are. And this is, you can see the node is on the bottom. I'm going to try to keep the cut as straight as possible. There we go. That's a pretty decent clean cut. And this is what we have. All right. So this cutting has 3 leaves on it. This is where the bottom of the cutting is, and the 3 leaves. 3 leaves is okay. I think 2 is better, because the less that your cutting has to deal with trying to keep the leaves alive and keep them healthy, the better chances you have of new roots coming about. So I said all that to say I'm going to cut one of these leaves off. And it's going to be this leaf right here on the side. Now, what I'm also going to do is move myself to to my table so you can see what I'm doing better. So hold on, be right back. Okay, now that I've moved to my table, you can see what I have cut off a lot better now. And here are the 3 leaves that were attached to the branch that I cut off of the whole plant. And this smaller leaf right here, my angle, here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off this smaller leaf so that the plant will have the best chance possible to root and produce a new plant. So I would suggest to not be afraid, because I've done this many times. And I remember when I first started, I was so apprehensive. I was like, well, what if it doesn't turn out? What if I mess it up? What if? And then I just stopped what ifing and trying to see what would happen. And things were not as scary as I thought. And plus, I did do a lot of research. I did a lot of reading, Googling about how to propagate. I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and they were extremely helpful. I've gained a lot of confidence and a lot of information and the do's and don'ts on working with plants through YouTube. So it's really been a valuable help to me. And if this video that I'm making has any value for you, please don't forget to hit the like button, and subscribe. It will help my channel, because again, my channel is very new. I'm a baby in the YouTube channel world, but it won't be forever. And so what you didn't see is that I cut off this dead part of the leaf, what was dying. And I know exactly why, because I have this plant over by the heater. There's a heater down on the floor in this back porch. I'm on the back porch of my house. So yeah, heater is very necessary, very important. But so it got like that because it probably got too much heat. It was hanging over the side of the pot. And so now the next step, now I have 2 options. I can let this harden, or what do they say, scab over. That's another term that's used. And it just means you will wait a day or 2 for it to get brown and the edges to get a little like a scab. You know, what happens if you get a cut and it's starting to heal and it scabs over. You can wait to do that. And that's a pretty good thing to do. However, for video purposes, I'm just going to go ahead and put this in the container that it's going to sit in. I have one that I just put some leaves in just the other day, and I'm going to add this to it. And so I'll be right back getting that vase. It's a beautiful vase, and it is something that is made for this. So I'll be right back. Okay, so now I got my beautiful burnt orange vase that I got from the secondhand store, by the way. I'm sure this thing would have been more than I could have afforded, but oh my God, I'm so happy I found this, because it works perfect for these beautiful, thick, heavy monstera leaves. And this is what I used on the leaves that I cut off of my friend's monstera in California. Put it in my suitcase, brought it home, and put it in this vase. And I tell you, it took no time at all for roots to come about. So here's the one we just cut. I'm just going to put it in here. Now in this vase, it's already, there's liquid in here. You can just use plain water, but I would advise you, if you want better results, to either treat your water, depending on where you live. If you have water that you're not concerned about the chlorine, and if it's wonderful water, then just use straight tap water. Tap water is okay, but I recommend that you fill up a container of water, leave the top off for at least 24 hours overnight, so that all the chlorine and those different things that's in there, so it can dissipate and help to purify your water. or you can use stress coat. That's the same stuff that they use in aquariums to make that water great. Speaking of which, I have some here. And I got this off of Amazon for like $9.99. And it just it ups your plant game, I would say. It really does. Great water makes for great plants. That's one less thing that plants have to be concerned about, trying to fight off impurities and chlorine, trying to thrive through all of those different things that go on with water. And I also use the Super Thrive. I've mentioned Super Thrive before, and I just cannot say enough about this wonderful formula. I've had Super Thrive. First time I bought it was back in 2020. This is around when COVID occurred. And that's when I first learned about it because I hunkered down in my house and I started learning how to take care of plants. I learned how to crochet. I learned how to do a number of things. But this I get off of Amazon. But now you can find Super Thrive in Walmart, as a matter of fact. I was going online to find the link that I put in the description so that if you guys are interested in using the Super Thrive, you'll be able to, just go in my description, click on the links, and go from there. And that's when I discovered that, Walmart is selling it too. I had no idea that Walmart was selling Super Thrive as well. And so once these plants start, get the roots, and I'm happy and I'm able to have a pot to put them in and everything like that. Or actually, I can just continue the growth process in this vase. Yeah, this is really a really smart thing to have for these type of leaves and their size. So what I'm going to do is use leca and the the semi-hydroponic formula, which is a 3-part formula with Flora Micro, Flora Bloom, and Flora Grow. These are, I tell you, I have been using this for going on 5 years now. And these same containers is what I'm also trying to tell you, is that I have not had to buy these again or replace them or renew them for 5 years, because you're only using like a teaspoon to a gallon of water. And so, or half a teaspoon, or whatever the formula that you're going to be using. And I tell you, it has just done wonders for me. The majority of the plants that I have switched over to semi-hydroponics using leca and the general hydroponics nutrients. And I swear by it, because I don't have any bugs flying around anymore. I don't have to worry about all the things that go along with fighting off infections and bugs. Now, I'm not saying that your plants will never get infected. It's just that it has been my journey. It has been my experience that when I stopped using certain substrates other than leca, the bugs subsided. It was a battle. We had to get rid of the bugs. But the leca, I have never found any larva or any bug infestation inside of leca. So I give that all those praises. So today I hope that if you didn't know how to propagate, or if you were concerned about or nervous about cutting on your monstera, I'm here to tell you there's nothing to be concerned about. Cut it right above or below the node. Find that node. Go ahead and get your cutting. You can wait at least, you can wait a day or two for it to scab over or not. And put it in your water. And again, I would advise you to use that Super Thrive. I put a quarter of a teaspoonful in a gallon of water. And it just works for all my plants. I use Super Thrive even when I'm making doing plants, doing food. I'm sorry, growing tomatoes and things in the yard, doing growing seasons for that. So once again, I hope I helped you today. If I did, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, click on the like, and I'll see you next time. I'll be making some more videos, and hopefully you will have a wonderful weekend. Thank you. Take care. Bye.